Hi, I'm Owen Canfield with the opinion page of the Oklahoman, joined as I am each Friday by Mike Mcnutt, our chief capital correspondent, to talk about a review of the week that was at the legislature. And Mike, things are really rocking and rolling right there, as you know, you live it every day. But some really good fireworks this week when Senate Democrats blocked passage of an appropriations bill that the governor and legislative leaders, that being the House Speaker and the Senate President, who are both Republican, they found an agreement to take care of the 2010 fiscal year budget, get them through this fiscal year. Things cook right along in the House, no problem. Comes up for a vote on the Senate floor. Senators say no thanks, and they held it up. Finally got passed after an agreement. Talk to us a little bit about some of the background on all that and how it happened.
Monday, when all these Senate appropriation bills came up for approval in the Senate, as you mentioned, the House passed them overwhelmingly on Thursday. They passed all of them except a couple, and one of them that they did not pass was that emergency funding for Highway Patrol, Department of Public Safety, to prevent furloughs of troopers, and for corrections, and I think education had, DHS had some money, emergency funding in that bill as well.
Right.
What the Democrats were hoping to do, of course, was just kind of hijack the whole budget agreement, maybe get them all back to the budget table. And what they wanted was money for the senior citizen nutrition program, which had been
money
cut
that would
in
cut
November.
last year, right, by DHS.
The Senate Democrats thought, well, we're going to stand up for senior citizens and not sign this. It needed emergency. It could pass, but it needed 2/3 to get that what they called an emergency pass, so that the governor, when he signed it, the money would be effective immediately.
So you don't have to wait 90 days.
If it's not, you have to wait 90 days.
Right.
The Republicans' position was, I guess we'll just keep that money for the 2011 budget. They weren't going to budge on the...
and they didn't.
And they didn't. And Wednesday afternoon, a news conference was scheduled with troopers and correctional officers saying, look, we need this money now. And just a half hour before that news conference, it was postponed a little bit, and then right before the news conference was to be held, the Senate Democrats announced they had a deal, which basically says we're not getting anything in 2010, but they promise us they'll give us some money in 2011 fiscal year budget. And then they want to move the senior nutrition program funding from DHS, Department of Human Services, to some other agency.
Right. Democrats made their point. They're able now to say, look what we did for seniors, and then they have to cross their fingers if something actually happens.
Yeah,
for
we
the
don't know because,
2011 budget. The state Supreme Court this week made an interesting ruling on a 2008 abortion law that was passed by the legislature. Basically, what it said was that it was unconstitutional because it had too many items. It broke the single subject rule, if you will, that bills have to have.
There's been about 2 or 3 rulings in the past 5 or 6 years that the Supreme Court has taken the legislators to task. Remember, we had that bond issue.
Right.
We had three different bond issues last year, and they said, no, you got to do it again with individual legislation. So the abortion bill, Representative Dan Sullivan, who was the author of the bill 2 years ago, which included about 5 or 6 anti-abortion measures, most publicity was the ultrasound, requiring women to see an ultrasound image before the abortion was to take place.
Right.
He said, look, this happens all the time out at the legislature. You look at all these omnibus tax bills, even bills that they name highways, memorial highways after people. There are different highways across this
more than one
state,
subject.
More than one subject. And he thought that, it's all anti-abortion issues. It fit under one subject.
Right.
The Supreme Court obviously still thinks that, and I guess it'd be interesting to see what would happen if someone took a non-controversial bill with all these different subjects and asked the Supreme Court, hey, what do you think of this?
Right.
And
well, this issue is a very, very touchy one for a lot of people, and it's not going away. There are bills in the legislature this session again that deal with the issue of abortion, and it will be with us for a good
this
long
week,
while,
the House did pass the one of those individual split-out bills in the 2008, the ultrasound measure, which requires a woman to be shown an image. Now, she can look away if she wants, but that's a very contested bill because abortion advocates say, look, this is just one more pressure on a woman not to have an abortion, whereas anti-abortion people say, look, a lot of women may not realize just what's going on.
Sure.
So they passed the House, goes to the Senate, and we'll see what the governor does with it. He vetoed it, the big bill, a couple of years ago. So we'll see what happens with that.
Final item today, teeth floaters.
Yes.
The idea of who can work on taking care of horses' teeth. Horse vet, what they're called teeth floaters, right?
Right.
And this, there's been a development this week, I guess a bill that will sort of settle that issue. Is that right?
Well, perhaps.
For now.
Yeah. It's been a long battle a couple years ago between veterinarians and equine dentists or tooth floaters. And these floaters don't really do teeth cleaning like on humans or dogs or cats. What they do is they file these teeth down.
Right.
So a couple years ago, they were able to, in a large bill, put in a provision making it a felony.
Right.
A tooth floater a year ago in March was arrested for carrying some drugs that are needed. Some tooth floaters use drugs to put the horse to sleep, which is sedative to calm him down. Amazingly, he's still awake, so that they can put this. He started filing away. So they arrested this equine dentist on these felony charges. That kind of brought a whole hoopla to the whole thing. Last year, they were able to get that felony back to a misdemeanor, and then during the session, they had a number of hearings. And this bill that was passed Thursday basically eliminates the whole criminalization process. It does require equine dentists to be certified by the Veterinarian Medical Board.
Right.
They have to pay a $200 fee and have at least 80 hours of schooling from an equine dental school.
Right.
And then be certified every year. The Veterinary Association, Farm Bureau, and the equine dentists agreed to this.
Right.
The Veterinary Medical Board wasn't included in those conversations, so they're a little aggravated with that. But it passed the House easily. Now it goes to the Senate, and we'll see what happens over there.
Well, it just strikes me as a bill. You just wonder what in the world the legislature's doing wading into that issue, but that's me. Anyway, Mike, thanks as always for your time, and we invite you to read Mike's story, his stories every day in the Oklahoman and his blog on News OK, and to watch us each week here on News OK TV.